Hello. In this video, we'd like to show you how to convert virtually any computer into a Linux computer. Now, some steps need to be taken if you have a Chromebook, which we describe in like Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 of Learn Linux and LibreOffice.org. We're not going to be going over those steps today. If you have a Chromebook, look over those steps, and after you've kind of prepared the Chrome operating system to be able to accept a Linux live stick, then you'll be able to kind of follow the steps. But we're just going to basically assume that you have maybe some old Windows computer that you're going to be converting to Linux. Now, the first step in doing this is to create what's called a live stick. And you can do this in Windows. We recommend a program called, an operating system called Linux Mint. And all you have to do is do a search for Linux Mint and go to the download page and download the 64 ISO for Linux Mint. We recommend the Cinnamon version. And it'll be about a couple of gigabytes. When you download it, you're also going to need to have a USB drive. And the USB drive should be about 8 gigabytes to 16 gigabytes. It doesn't have to be a very big USB drive. And we're going to turn this USB drive into a live stick. Now, to do that, you could use a program called Unetbootin. There's actually several excellent online tools for creating these things. But you basically download the ISO file from the Linux Mint website, and it likely should be the 64-bit version rather than the 32-bit version. And then you take and you use whatever tool, whether you're using an online tool or like Etcher, or you're using a tool downloaded to your computer, and you use that to select the ISO image and to select, this is Unetbootin here, but you could use any of these programs. Unetbootin is kind of an old version of Etcher. And you would simply select the ISO and you'd select the image and you click start, and then that you've created a live stick. Now, the second thing that you need to do is you need to go into the BIOS program, which is, for most Windows computers these days, is called UEFI, or UEFI. But at any rate, how you go into the BIOS program is you simply start the computer and you click on either F2 or escape. It varies from model to model. And when you get into the BIOS program, or the UEFI program, you go to the start selection of the boot selection options, and you set it to boot from the USB drive, because by default it boots directly into the hard drive of the computer, and you want it to boot into the USB drive instead. So it's basically a matter of creating a live stick, and then resetting your computer so that it boots from a USB drive. And then once you have your USB drive, explains what's going to happen here with the Chrome operating system as you kind of go into this. And what the USB drive will do is it will bring up a screen that looks exactly like this, and it'll say Linux Mint. And just there's a little red box here. You just simply click on it to start the install process. Now, I should say this is going to clear all of the programs off of your old Windows computer, all the files, all the pictures, everything else. So you should have a separate USB drive where you've cleared all those documents off. You can put the documents back on later. You can even run Windows programs in Linux with a program called Wine. But really, there's really no need to run Windows programs because there almost always are better free Linux programs. But nevertheless, you click on this thing and it will start the install screen. And you just click on a series of buttons to go through the install screen. You give the computer a name. You have it completely replace the Windows operating system. Your computer will work a lot better it'll be a lot safer if you just simply replace it. So you simply click on Erase Disk and install Linux Mint, and then it'll start running through a slideshow. And these are some of the slides in it. When it's all done, it takes about 10-15 minutes, depending upon your internet connection, and you should be online when you're doing this transition process so we can install all the programs and stuff. And then it'll ask you if you want to restart the computer, and if you click Restart Now, it'll ask you to remove the live stick. And once you remove the live stick, you'll come up with a screen like this. And then you've got Linux on your computer. You could then add back all of your images and documents and stuff and put them in the file manager. But basically, that's all there really is, all the steps there really are. Now, to get internet access, sometimes you need to get different drivers, and there's a Linux Mint forum that you can go to. You could usually get Ethernet access just by plugging it into the Ethernet of your computer, but some older computers require special drivers, and you can just simply do an online search, find the drivers. You can go to the Linux Mint forum and ask questions. Hey, how do I install drivers? Is possible after, say, 20 or 30 minutes worth of research to get drivers installed on whatever your computer is, and then you're all set to go. Now, in the next program, or in the next video, we will talk about how to add important programs to your Linux Mint computer. It comes with LibreOffice and a lot of other, maybe 50 other programs that you might need, but there's a few extra programs that we're going to want you to install to get through Kids Biz Club. Okay? Thanks for watching this program. We'll see you at the next program.